What's up, Underdawgs? DevDog here. Today is Sunday, October 15th. I know I haven't really been posting consistently like I was. I've just kind of been struggling a little bit with the podcast. I've been thinking of steering the whole podcast into a different direction. I honestly am not, I love conversations, right? But the way that I've been doing it has been a lot of fun and I've learned a lot. I just want to do it a little bit different. And honestly, sometimes it's hard to find people that want to come on and tell their story. So look forward to the podcast just kind of taking a different direction. It's something that I want to do for my own good and to maybe be a little bit more entertaining for everybody, all of you guys, all the listeners, all the underdogs out there. So anyway, last post, I talked about communication a little bit. We talked about timing, when and where to have a conversation with a friend or a coworker, the content of the message, presentation, role play, all that kind of stuff. And this week I wanted to talk about different types of communicators. They come along with different types of personalities, and after I describe all of them, I'm sure that you're going to be able to think of somebody specifically for each one of these types of communicating styles. So there are 4 that I wrote down. There is passive, there is aggressive, there's passive-aggressive, and there is assertive. I am going to start out with the passive communicators. So passive communicators are typically quiet people that don't really seek attention. They may have indifferent opinions during debates or may avoid a debate altogether. They rarely take a strong stance on a subject and won't typically assert themselves. It can be difficult for them to express their feelings, so it can be difficult to identify when they are uncomfortable and need help with a project or some sort of task. Passive communicators can be identified by their inability to say no. They could have poor posture, walking around sort of hunched over with their head down. They do tend to have an easygoing attitude. They also tend to have a lack of eye contact. They have a soft voice and a kind of apologetic demeanor. Whenever you want to communicate with a passive person, there are a few specific ways that you can go about it that can help you make your attempt successful. First, you want to take a direct approach. Initiate a one-on-one private conversation away from other people. They are more likely to open up in a private setting rather than a group setting. Ask for their opinions, and be sure to allow plenty of time for them to respond. There may be an awkward silence. More than likely, they need to think of a proper response before speaking out loud, so give them a moment to collect their thoughts and answer you. Avoid asking yes or no questions, or ask them to elaborate further if you do. Sometimes you may need to persuade an answer out of them, and that can take some skill to do that successfully. If you yourself are a passive communicator, it's important to work on your skills as a communicator. Seek out opportunities you feel you can comfortably speak up in. If you feel uncomfortable in a group, then seek out a one-on-one. Email is always an option as well, but as underdogs, I think that we should strive to get ourselves out of our comfort zones and tackle new challenges like Micah Parsons sacking Daniel Jones. That's a football reference for everybody that doesn't know who those 2 people are. Anyway, getting out of your box will soon help you see that openly sharing your thoughts can create opportunities for positive interactions. So then there's the aggressive communicator. An aggressive communicator has no problem expressing their thoughts and feelings and tend to dominate conversations, sometimes at the expense of others. They will often react before thinking through what they blurt out of their mouths, which can negatively affect a relationship and decrease productivity. While they may command respect in certain leadership type situations, they can come off as overbearing and intimidating to those who those of us who respond better to a more calm approach, like myself. Personally, I think of yellers whenever I think of an aggressive communicator. And I'll tell you what, I don't care who you are, if you yell at me, I immediately stop listening and my metaphorical brain fists go up, ready for a fight. At least that's how I used to be. Nowadays, I like to keep a cool head and either walk away or put on my customer service voice and speak calm and cool back to them. It usually throws them off a bit and they aren't sure how to respond, or they calm down themselves. And I still need to work on this every day when working with upset customers or coworkers. Signs of an aggressive communicator: interrupting others while they are speaking, invading personal spaces, like getting up close to your face, or trying to tower over top of you. And for me personally, it's like, fuck that, bro. You could talk to me from 6 feet away unless you want a headbutt straight to your nose. See, I'm still working on it. They tend to present an overbearing posture, like I said, kind of towering over somebody or getting in somebody's face, using aggressive gestures or intense eye contact. Seems like they're almost staring into your soul. You may want to consider a few different methods when interacting with an aggressive communicator. Be calm but assertive. Try not to let their aggressive nature intimidate you. If we feel intimidated, we may mirror that intimidation back to them, and they may become more aggressive. Focus the conversation on an actionable approach to the issue. Keep it professional. Direct the conversation away from personal issues or emotions. And also know when to walk away. Sometimes we may just need to walk away if an aggressive communicator becomes too demanding or there is no longer any progress being made. If you are an aggressive communicator, you may struggle to create strong relationships at work or in your personal life. Learning more positive communication techniques may help overcome the more aggressive ones. Don't yell. Record yourself speaking how you would to a coworker and listen to it. Does it sound like you are yelling? Does it sound aggressive? Work on your tone. Reducing stresses in your personal life can also help. Practice some meditations or breathing exercises to help yourself chill out a little bit. That helps me a lot. Then there's the oh so awesome passive-aggressive communicator. Passive-aggressive communicators can be a pain to deal with. I've been told that I can be passive-aggressive in the past, and I would always deny it, but after studying some behaviors of passive-aggressiveness, I've found that yes, I can be a bit passive-aggressive at times. But the good thing is now that I know I have a bad habit of being snarky or sarcastic at certain times, before I speak, I can make a mental note of what I was about to say. Then I can respond a bit more clear and concise. After all, sarcasm can definitely get annoying, even if I think it's funny. Other passive-aggressive people or passive-aggressive communicators usually have some sort of hidden agenda behind their passive responses. Sometimes they may feel powerless or manipulated, even if that isn't the case. They may say something to your face in agreement, but never actually plan on doing whatever it was that you spoke about. They tend to avoid a confrontation by using sarcasm or straight-up denial. The silent treatment when they are upset may be common. And when asked if there is anything wrong, it will most likely be responded with denial, or a snippy denial. Like, is there something the matter? No, nothing at all. What could possibly be wrong? See, that was snippy or snarky, and you can obviously tell that they're lying. How to deal with passive-aggressiveness. Recognize the passive-aggressive behavior. Once you start to familiarize yourself with passive-aggressive signs and symptoms, you can start to understand what to look for. You will begin to see certain behaviors from people that you didn't necessarily understand before and be able to identify the passive aggression. Once you can identify such behaviors, you have a more likely chance of protecting yourself from manipulation. How to deal with it. Identify the underlying problem. Directly point out their behavior without pointing fingers in a factual way. This is This may open an opportunity for them to express their feelings. Let them speak freely until they are done talking. Do not interrupt them, or you run the risk of them closing back up. You may have to keep your anger in check for this to happen, but do try to actually listen to what they have to say. Once they have finished expressing themselves, present some ideas on how the two of you or your team could work together to right any wrongs or how to make them feel more comfortable. If there can be no compromise to the situation, then again, just end the conversation to let each other cool off and try again later. This technique goes with situations at home as well as in the workplace. Passive-aggressive behavior can be destructive because it can be unseen if you don't know what you're looking for. So it's important that we learn to recognize these behaviors in others and especially ourselves. Last but not least is the assertive communicator. The assertive communication style, I would say, is the most productive style to communicate with. The assertive communicator is not afraid to share their thoughts and ideas, yet always do so in a respectful and polite manner. Just because you aren't afraid to say what is on your mind doesn't necessarily mean you are being assertive. You could say what is on your mind and sound like an asshole. Some things are better left unsaid, and you can do so with respect and skill. Some things are better left unsaid unless you can do so with respect and skill. The assertive communicator readily takes on tasks or challenges, but knows when and how to say no when it is necessary or required. These types of people have the ability to make others feel comfortable even in challenging scenarios. They are more than likely a skilled communicator and would be a good person to talk to about any issues you have with any of the other types of communicators. How you can become a more assertive communicator yourself. Express your needs and ideas with confidence using I statements. An example could be something as simple as, I feel that we could improve on this subject or on this task. Practice active listening. Look at somebody whenever they're speaking to you. Concentrate on only what the speaker is saying. Try to disfocus your attention from anything going on around you. If it's outside, don't look around traffic. Don't be looking at your phone. Don't look at your watch especially. That's just rude and it's not listening. You're just basically showing them that you don't care what they have to say and that your time is more important than theirs. Encourage others to share their ideas. Exercise emotional intelligence. Knowing when and where is the best to say things. This kind of goes along with the last episode. Knowing when and where to have a conversation or when to not have a conversation. By feeling the emotions in the situation. You can usually tell if it's a high tense situation or if it's a chill situation. Use your EQ to figure that out. Also, be open to feedback on your own communication strengths as well as how you can improve. Learn how to say no. Take a self-development course or read some books on efficient communication. I have a lot of them and I will put them in the show notes, the ones that I recommend. And you can pick those up on Amazon most likely or your local bookstore. Do some public speaking. Practice speaking in public. Whether that's just, say, at the volleyball courts, to the group of people that you're playing with, especially if they're strangers. Just kind of try and find any opportunity that you can to get your voice out there. It'll make you get out of your comfort zone, but also make you have a different comfort zone. And we're always trying to grow, right? So being able to identify all these styles of communicators and learning how to effectively communicate to them all can be extremely powerful. You will find yourself more attractive and useful to others, whether that is a prospective partner or a company you want to work for or are already working for. Promotions are nice, right? More money. I'm sure we could all think of somebody with these types of communicating styles. So maybe from now on, if you practice this a little bit, I'm sure that this episode, you're not just going to be a professional. I am definitely not. But we can identify them now and learn to work a little bit better to make everybody happy and become successful in life, because that's what it's all about. Being happy and being successful. Whether the success is just being happy in your everyday life. It's all different to everybody. It's different for me. It's different for you. Well, all right, guys. That's all that I got for you today. I appreciate you stopping by the Academy again, and I don't know when the next episode is going to come out. I think that I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break and get some episodes loaded, and like I kind of want to do like a season type thing. So I'm going to take a little bit of time off, and I'm going to create some more episodes and new content for you guys. And then I will be back in, I don't know how long, probably a couple of weeks, maybe a month. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I've just kind of been under a little bit of stress with this whole thing lately, which isn't what I want. I want this stuff to be clear and concise for you. And yeah, I'm still building this thing, man. So be looking out for the new episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I put a lot of effort into it, so I hope you guys got something out of it. All right, y'all. Much love. Deaf Dog out. Tell somebody you love them today.